Do you have maybe a file to share with me, or should I just?
Okay. So what else you want to
Oh,
talk about?
okay.
You talk about like how I can handle my secondary
Okay.
data.
So I just wanted to ask one question. I wanted to update you. Today I finished all the references that
Mm-hmm.
are left for the secondary data, which I finished. I sent you that without the references, but I finished them. In personal opinion, what you told me about the first part, I
Mm-hmm.
wrote 2 sentences, what I thought you can see, and I changed the stuff in the first part that you've told me to change with the maybe you think it should change more, but
Mm-hmm.
in case of the percentage and the grammar, that should be fine. I chose
Okay.
also the subheadings, the names, and everything to match. As you told me in videos, I was going through the YouTube videos,
Okay.
and
Good work.
so yes, so you can just see the second part in the research methodology. If I need to add, maybe in your opinion, that's not like enough, but I already have now more than 9,000 words without references, without abstract,
Mm-hmm.
conclusion, and recommendations. So those are the 3 things that are left for me, and primary data, which will be probably 2 more pages for sure. I mean, maybe even more, I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
thought around maybe 1,500 words more, which will be a lot actually at the end. When you put it all together, and then I will do the APA style, which you've
Mm-hmm.
told me, I mean, to sort out the whole paper and make the, to look nice, let's say like that. But yeah. So I wanted to ask you for the primary data. I will do the questions tomorrow and send them immediately and give around 3 days, which is more than enough.
Mm-hmm.
And the responses will be in English. Maybe the English won't be the best because Serbian people will respond. That's all I could find
Mm-hmm.
now. I mean, Corona and I'm at home and stuff, but it's fine. So yes, I will probably do the proper English, like the grammar, but
Mm-hmm.
otherwise I will leave the responses. And I wanted to ask you for primary data, just how should be the questions, how hard? Because I thought to ask direct and easy questions. For example, what is in your opinion, what are the advantages of the Belgrade Budapest railway,
It's
for
perfectly
example?
fine. You can say that, in order to be, having a simplicity, because my country is, it's better to ask in a simple, plain language,
Yes,
right?
yes,
That's
it's
very nice
easier,
because your
way
purpose
easier
is
to
not,
understand.
not be
Sorry.
explaining English. Your purpose is to make them understand the research work, the research question, so that they understand very well what you want to ask, right? Because
Yes,
English is
so
not your
I already
primary language, right?
told them. I already told them what I'm concentrated on and what I'm writing about and how
Mhm.
long approximately it should be. I said like few sentences, not to be just one sentence and done. Then, but like few sentences, I'll put all together and make question answer. And so I just wanted to ask about the question, should it be really specific? But because if it's too specific, then maybe people won't know what exactly to answer. If it's a little bit broad, they can also add to it. So in my
Mhm.
opinion, it's way easier. I thought to make 6, 7 questions.
Mhm.
I separated 6, 7 questions, and that's all. Because then it will be easy to answer, and I can have a quick response. And I think it's more than enough. I did a secondary data as good as I could. If you could see, I sent you the file yesterday, but I included everything: Belt Road, the financing, the infrastructure, and at the
Mhm.
end, the railway financing, of the railway advantages and disadvantages. There is not much, obviously, because it's still in work,
Mhm.
but also I think that I included a lot because I took from also people in Hungary also their researches.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my research will be very good for my country and people
Mm-hmm.
from my country, because I went into details and researched literally each, from ResearchGate and the Google. I opened all possible, you know what I mean, all possible links I could have,
That's
and in
very
the
nice.
book too.
Mm,
Yes, I will also, just so you know, for secondary part also, I will ask probably my boyfriend to check the grammar, because he's from New Zealand. I mean, it's his native language and he's responding emails every day. So it's very on
that's that's perfectly
professional
fine.
level. Just to check, just in case
Mm-hmm.
everything at the end to matches. And I think I'm done. Tomorrow I thought in the morning to do conclusion and recommendations and abstract at the end, with the abstract in Chinese. That
Mm-hmm.
is separate. I also thought for abstract not to be long, because I don't know how to translate in English, in Chinese. I'll need help, either from my Chinese friend, or my Chinese definitely isn't good enough to translate like literature language, or maybe Office to help me. Otherwise, I'm done. I mean, done. I'm not saying, but mostly
Mm-hmm.
that's
Okay.
all.
One thing that
Mm-hmm.
I suggest you to add here in analysis part, the research methodology. Can you see that?
Uh-huh. Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
I can.
So in like after type of study, make one heading,
Mm-hmm.
data collection.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Data
And in that
collection.
data
Okay.
collection, you write it down that you gather all the research papers from ResearchGate, from Google, from the Web of Science,
Mm-hmm.
the Science Index, good journal
Mm-hmm.
papers you find out from there, and
Mm-hmm.
you utilizes primary data collection from interviews as well. And you can also
Yes.
mention the
Okay.
name. Okay, I have interviewed, this person, Mr. X, his designation was that, just Mr. X, so like that, and the time duration for this interview, for example, 15 minutes each. You can write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I
Perfect.
just realized that one heading is missing, like how data is collected, right?
That's
So
good. That's good.
we already mentioned here unit of analysis, sample size, perfect, type of study, perfect, analysis tools and techniques. You use Excel, very nice, and Word, okay, very nice. And one thing, data collection, how you collect the data, okay?
Perfect. I will
Just
add
write it
that
down over
tomorrow.
there, okay? For secondary
Definitely.
data, you go towards a different kind of like searches, like sorry, ResearchGate and Google Scholar, different kind of like engines that you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and also you can say that
Literature
my
banks.
newspaper is like that, okay?
Perfect.
Good. And research findings like primary data. Primary data is for like you conduct interviews, okay?
Yes. Yes.
First of all,
That's
you
what I'm
do
gonna
is
add before.
how are you gonna
Mm-hmm.
reconcile it? You mentioned those interviews. Okay, I have collected 7 interviews. So interview one, two, three, brief mention, not more than half page. You ask about this
Okay.
kind of question. His response was inverted commas. You just write it down. Okay,
Okay.
and then
Yes.
primary data findings. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
you make a subheading which is primary data finding. That would be
Mm-hmm.
what you see common in those 7 interviews.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, then you make some kind of graph. Okay, for example, Salmon said whatsoever, this, some kind of variables you pick that. Okay, some said it's very nice, very important. The I need to check with that. The common points you
Okay.
pick it up and make some kind of graph or table.
Okay.
Mr.
Okay.
X also said like this. Mr. XYZ, ABC also said like this, like this. You make some kind of comparison of those interviews.
Okay.
That
Sure.
is that is the finding from primary research. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
which is very important for your research because that is actually belongs to your Serbia.
Yeah.